Graduates, faculty, parents, thank you, President Mandel, Dean Long, and the Board of Trustees for the recognition of this honorary degree. Graduates, congratulations to each of you on your remarkable achievement and this milestone moment. Savor this, soak in the scene, look around you and appreciate what you've received from your friends, professors, parents. Starting today, you carry the academic, social, and professional benefits that come with graduating from one of the world's most respected colleges. You are credentialed. You have agency. You'll have the power to change things, and with that power comes responsibility. How you use your agency is what I will discuss today. 1, you have it. Don't underestimate it. 2, make deliberate choices. Don't drift. And 3, if you decide to work for change, bring all the creativity to the task. So first, don't underestimate your agency. Maximize it. And be grateful that you have a lifetime of choices ahead. How liberating, and in some ways, how rare in this world that you have the agency to author the life ahead of you. Yes, there will be things beyond your control, assumptions that will be made about you, obstacles in your path, but you will have the ability to navigate those. And when you hit a roadblock, step back and consider all the possibilities before choosing your course. When I was working at a small environmental group in Connecticut, a friend suggested I apply for the job of running the Environmental Defense Fund, EDF, a national group that had already won a ban on the hazardous pesticide, DDT, and taken toxic lead out of gasoline. I agreed to put my hat in the ring, even though I was only 30 years old at the time. Why not put yourself out there and take a chance? In my first interview, I hit that roadblock when I was told, "Maybe you'll be ready for this job in 10 years, son." But I kept at it and managed to get re-interviewed. When the EDF board chair asked me about my age, I was ready. I agreed my age was a hurdle, and I promised to do something about my age every single day I was on the job. In my first year at EDF, an educator and poet named Scott McVeigh told me, "Fred, walk into every meeting expecting something wonderful to happen." When I remember his advice, I'm awakened to the possibilities of how seemingly unrelated pieces might connect. That openness to something wonderful happening is tied to another way to maximize your agency. Make the time to dream. Steve Ross, former head of Time Warner, got some important advice from his father. Spend 10% of your time dreaming, 90% doing. It's true that you can achieve results without spending most of your time working. But it's equally true that achieving big things starts with setting aside the time to dream. Second, make deliberate choices. Don't drift. Now that point relates to a question. When you see what is wrong with the world, do you mind your own business, or do you work for change? It's a choice you'll face again and again. And the answer is not always obvious. You cannot try to fix everything. But I urge you to actually make that choice. Don't drift down a path that other people or circumstances choose for you. When you have that choice, whether to try to make a difference, the greatest obstacle is often feeling overwhelmed. Today the world faces armed conflicts, threats to democracy, and attacks on basic human rights. All of us face unprecedented threats from the climate crisis. it can all feel like too much, like the very idea of progress is unlikely. It's fair to ask yourself if you can have a meaningful impact on seemingly impossible challenges. Is it even reasonable to have hope? David Orr, a historian at Oberlin, teaches us the difference between optimism and hope. Optimism is a prediction that everything will be okay, while hope is a verb with its sleeves rolled up. Hope is about committing yourself to action, to making a difference. You will not be surprised that I believe working for change can be a rational choice, and it is deeply gratifying when you succeed at something that matters. I've learned that with hope and hard work, we can succeed even on climate change, but it can take some persistence. In 2010, U.S. environmentalists and our allies couldn't rally enough votes in Congress to pass a climate change law. We could have called it quits, but instead we kept our hope, redoubled our efforts, and just this past summer, Congress passed the Inflation Reduction Act, the biggest climate law in American history. It will deploy some $370 billion to move the U.S. to a clean energy economy. And now EPA Administrator Michael Regan has proposed a rule that means 2/3 of our new cars and millions of new trucks will be electric in less than 10 years. Cleaner air in our cities means thousands of lives will be saved, millions will have healthier futures. We will be a more just, more equitable country because countless people with different and vital roles to play chose to make it so. So that brings me to my third point, how to engage. Do it creatively. Sometimes the biggest change comes from looking at problems differently. For instance, about 1/3 of current global warming probably isn't caused by what you think. No, I'm not about to spin some conspiracy theory. But when I say global warming, do you think carbon dioxide? Fact is, the methane pollution released in 2023 will cause more warming in the decade ahead than all the carbon dioxide from fossil fuels we burn this year. For a long time, the world largely ignored the huge impact of methane pollution from oil and gas production, agriculture, and landfills. We didn't talk about methane, we didn't act on it, we didn't even know how much methane was entering the atmosphere. When scientists at my organization realized this, they made a choice. Take on an entirely new fight, and they dreamt big, out of this world big. They thought up the completely unworkable, unfundable, outrageous idea of having an environmental group launch a satellite. A machine capable of pinpointing methane pollution from every major source in every country and sharing that data with everyone. That was the 10% dreaming part that led to years of work to make it happen. Early next year, a SpaceX rocket will launch that finely tuned satellite into the atmosphere to begin a new era of accountability on methane pollution. Coupled with policy and advocacy, MethaneSat will help cut that pollution from oil and gas operations 75% by 2030 and change our future for the better. We saw a problem and engaged. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Of course, no one group acting alone could possibly win the scale of change we urgently need on climate. We need less talk about what we need to do by 2050 and more people doing the work in the next 6 months that will slash climate pollution in the next 6 years. We need people in industry, government, and civil society to engage. We need climate champions in communities, boardrooms, legislatures, and laboratories. We need visionaries pointing out the unseen opportunities. We need leaders to lead. And we all need the good judgment to understand what it is to engage effectively to ensure our efforts are not in vain. Sometimes it feels like the world pushes us toward righteous indignation. You can't look at news on your phone and not feel it. But our responsibility is to act in ways that help bring progress. Thoughtful engagement requires creativity, planning, and strategic thinking. Now, my personal story is about the environment and tackling climate change, but the lessons that I hope you take go beyond this. The world needs hopeful people, people willing to inform themselves and ready to dive into the hard questions and engage in the difficult conversation. In short, the world needs you. This power, the willingness to engage, can transcend boundaries between people and their politics and ideologies. It's the key to unlocking our potential and making a true and lasting difference in the world. In 2023, here with all of you new graduates, I can confidently say there is every reason to be hopeful. So my challenge to you is to have hope, engage, take risks, and dream big. Set forth to make a difference in our deeply imperfect, beautiful world, understanding that every step we take today produces a ripple effect. Collaboration will create cascades of change. As we gather here on the thresholds of a new chapter in your lives, let us draw inspiration from the indomitable spirit of Nelson Mandela. He said, "Make your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." His words resonate deeply with the challenges he faced, the choices he made, and the agency that he held, even when confined to a prison cell. As you embark on your path, you will encounter obstacles, doubts, and fears. But remember that your choices have the potential to shape not only your lives, but the world around us. There's a lot to fear out there, but change will come from what you hope to create. You have the power to choose hope over despair, unity over division, and progress over stagnation. You have the power to make a difference. The world is waiting for you. Congratulations and good luck on your journey.